Guardians, what's going on, y'all? Sly here, back at it once again with another Prestige raid guide for y'all, and this time we're checking out everyone's favorite Leviathan encounter, the Puppy Challenge. So before we get into everything, first let's take a look at what you're going to need in terms of subclasses and weapons. If you're on a Titan, Striker all the way, guys. With enough stacks, double pulse grenades help you out tremendously, even more so when we get into what's new with the changes. For Hunter, Golden Gun with Celestial works really nicely, but just be careful when aiming. Pair it up with the Incendiary Grenade. If you don't have Celestial, then Foe Tracer also works fairly well. Moving on to Warlock, Nova Bomb that continually damages enemies within it. It's the same skill tree as Devour, so of course run that, and pair it up with Vortex Grenades. As far as weapons go, there are quite a few viable things that you can bring along for this encounter. The Raid Sword is particularly useful here due to the fact that it's really hard to run out of ammo, but normal swords also work well. Make sure you use your right trigger power attacks. Sins of the Past rocket launcher, which is the raid rocket, is also really good for this part. Just be careful to not kill yourself by shooting the smaller dogs as they start to run up to you. And finally, Merciless also does a pretty decent job here as well. So one of those weapons will definitely get you through this encounter. Alright y'all, so now let's move on to the changes for Prestige mode. Remember how there are 8 flowers within this map, and it was kind of odd that 2 of these flowers never had a dog associated with them? Well, now they do. There are 8 dogs in total for this encounter instead of 6. What makes it even worse is that they now run routes right in the middle of the map that made getting to each flower totally easy in normal mode. The new dogs are located at the second left flower, or L2, and the flower in caves or rocks. So what you're going to do here, guys, is once again split up into 2 teams of 3. Everyone gets assigned a flower just like you would on normal mode. Crystal holders should be grabbing the furthest ones, L3 and R3, because they can make it to the back a lot faster than runners on the ground can. So with one team of 3 on the left and the other team of 3 on the right, there will also be a dog by themselves on the left and a dog by themselves on the right. Each team will be responsible for their own sides. Now there's 2 ways you can go about completing this. You can either try to stack up 5 or 6 flowers, which will give you times 60 or times 72 damage buff, which is by far the fastest way to kill everything, but of course it's not the easiest. So like I said, getting as many flowers as possible, up to 5 or 6, you can one-phase this, which of course is the fastest, like I said, but not the easiest. The more realistic way of doing this is to split the damage up into 2 rounds. Try to get as many stacks as possible, and then take your dog down to a sliver of health left. Do not kill it. Then on the second round, once again, try to get at least 4 stacks if at all possible, but shoot for as many as you can squeeze in. Once you get a good amount of damage stacked up, head to your dog and a grenade or one sword swipe should kill it. So throw down the grenade, verify that your own dog is dead, and then head to the lonely dog. Again, you should be met by your other teammates on your respective side, and with a decent damage stack, the 3 of you should be able to kill it in a very short amount of time. My advice is to just play it round by round. Always shoot for getting 5 or 6 stacks regardless of what's happening, but if it doesn't work out, even if you only get 1 or 2 stacks, run to your flower, do as much damage as possible. A little damage is always better than doing absolutely nothing, because that extra damage will come in handy when you finally get all the flowers you need, especially with an extra dog roaming around. Alright ladies and gents, now let's move on to the new paths. If you've been raiding every week since this raid came out, you probably know the routes by now. Well, all of them have changed up. Not by much, but they are different. So be aware of where the dogs stop and turn this time around. For example, there used to be a dog that was right behind trees that only went left or right. He didn't stop to turn around or anything like that. He had one straight path. Well, this time around, there are 2 dogs that share this route, and they both take left middle and right middle. Then they turn inwards towards the trees and cave before turning back around. So scope out these new routes as best you can. The new dogs are right here in front. There's one that makes a straight line from left to right immediately in front of the safe house. The other dog is also directly in the middle of the map. This one takes the right middle route like I just talked about earlier. It goes up and down directly in the center of the map where there used to not be any dogs, and then it cuts to the left and takes a few steps behind trees before stopping and turning around to repeat the route. So while middle is still the best route to go, it's no longer a safe way to go. Now, it's by far the safest, but it's still not safe. There is waiting involved now, while it used to just be, straight up the middle. You can go in there and get out of there really quickly, but that's not the case anymore. The hardest flower to get to is R2, and you will be tempted to try to go out the right door and sneak by the cave, but guys, this is a trap. Unless you're going to R1, always exit out the left-hand side and cut through trees. You now have to wait for this dog making a north and south route before you can go. Always ask your crystal holder when the route is clear. Once you exit out of trees, there will be a dog to your far right side making his route right in front of the safe house. This is one of the new ones. Don't worry about that dog while crossing from trees to cave. Play it cautious, but he will not see you unless you are exiting the safe house at the wrong time. This dog does not pay attention to the middle. So once again, guys, the best strategy for getting through the puppy challenge is to always use the middle route through trees when going for anything other than L1 or R1. The rest head through trees. If you try to go out the right side and sneak around, there's a dog that cuts right by cave and then he turns a corner. So once you're by cave, there's no safe place to hide. You're stuck there and you can't go back because of the new dog patrolling left and right in front of the safe house. But that's really about it, guys. Once again, it's all about repetition. Everyone thought at first that the dogs were the worst encounter in the raid the first week through. All you heard about was how hard dogs were, but in fact, dogs are the easiest encounter, and that still rings true in Prestige mode. You got this, Guardians. Like I said, it's all about knowing these new routes. For the most part, they are all the same, but each dog now takes a new turn at the end of its route. So that corner that used to be safe to hide behind is no longer safe now. You just need to find out where these new safe spots are, and that simply takes time and repetition. Also remember that if you have to work your way back to L3 and R3, there is a back tunnel of sorts that is for the most part wide open. The only dog you need to worry about is when you cross over from the left-hand side of the map to the right. And of course, when you finally approach the flower itself. But even then, this passageway is always a safe bet. Just make sure that you get there by going through trees. Keep this tree strategy and you will make it out just fine. Alright, y'all, that's it for me. As always, thank you all so much for watching and for supporting the channel. If you're halfway new to the raid and still not sure about the mechanics for the Pleasure Gardens, then I have my Pleasure Gardens raid guide up here on my channel. I would definitely recommend to watch that if you have any questions. Take a look and then learn that part first before attempting Prestige. Prestige mode is the new hard mode, but hard mode in D1 compared to Prestige in D2 is absolutely night and freaking day. This is a true hard mode. So prepare yourself with some experience in normal mode before attempting any of this bad boy, because you can get frustrated pretty easily here, and at times it almost seems impossible. But take your time, learn the routes, and you got this. By the way, if you're new to Slide Nation, then welcome, my friend. Subscribe for tons more D2 videos. Spank the thumbs up only if you enjoyed yourself, and comment down below if you have any questions or if you just want to say what's up. Later, y'all, and keep those eyes open for the rest of my guides coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll catch you all next time.